The air in Oakhaven, a town cradled by the whispering pines of the Pacific Northwest, always carried a scent of damp earth and ancient secrets. It was a place where the rhythm of life was slow, dictated by the changing seasons and the quiet hum of its close-knit community. But on a particularly chilly autumn evening, that tranquility was shattered, replaced by a chilling mystery that would forever alter the town's perception of itself. The date was October 17, 2023. Arthur Finch, a man as reclusive as the forest that bordered his property, had vanished. His absence, initially unnoticed by many, became glaringly apparent with the return of Barnaby, his loyal German shepherd. The dog, usually a picture of calm and composure, stumbled back to Arthur's isolated cabin, his fur matted with mud and, more disturbingly, streaks of crimson. Barnaby's whimpers at the cabin door were the first sign that something was terribly wrong. Sarah Jenkins, a kind-hearted neighbor who occasionally checked on Arthur, found the dog huddled on the porch, shivering. Her heart sank as she noticed the blood, not Barnaby's own, but clearly from another source. A quick scan of the cabin revealed an unsettling silence. Arthur, a creature of habit, was not there. His worn armchair by the fireplace was empty, his half-finished cup of tea cold on the side table. The only disturbance was a faint, metallic smell lingering in the air, a scent that Sarah couldn't quite place but instinctively knew was wrong. The Oakhaven Sheriff's Department, a small unit led by the seasoned Detective Harding, was immediately called. Harding, a man whose weathered face told tales of countless solved and unsolved cases, arrived with his deputy, Miller, a young officer still grappling with the grim realities of police work. The scene at Arthur's cabin was perplexing. There were no signs of forced entry, no struggle, just the eerie quiet and the bloodied dog. Barnaby, usually wary of strangers, seemed to sense the urgency, his eyes following Harding with an almost human understanding. The detective knelt, gently examining the dog's fur. The blood, now partially dried, was dark, almost black, and seemed to be concentrated around Barnaby's muzzle and paws. It was a grim indicator that the dog had been present during some violent event. The initial search of Arthur's property yielded nothing. The cabin, though sparsely furnished, was meticulously kept, reflecting Arthur's orderly nature. A small, well-tended garden, now wilting in the autumn chill, surrounded the house. Beyond that, the dense forest began, a labyrinth of ancient trees and winding trails that Arthur often frequented with Barnaby. The search expanded into the woods, a team of officers fanning out, their flashlights cutting through the encroaching twilight. The air grew colder, and a thick fog began to roll in, making the search even more challenging. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, sent a shiver down their spines, amplifying the sense of dread that hung heavy in the air. Detective Harding, a man who trusted his instincts above all else, felt a prickle of unease. Arthur Finch was not the type to simply wander off. He was a creature of routine, a man who valued his solitude but was never careless. The blood on Barnaby was the most disturbing piece of the puzzle. It suggested foul play, a violent confrontation that had left Arthur missing and his loyal companion traumatized. As the night wore on, the search intensified, but the forest, with its ancient, silent sentinels, offered no answers. The only sound was the distant howl of a coyote, a mournful cry that seemed to echo the growing despair of the search party. The next morning, Oakhaven awoke to the news of Arthur Finch's disappearance. The quiet town, unaccustomed to such unsettling events, buzzed with speculation. Whispers spread through the local diner, the general store, and the church. Who was Arthur Finch, really? And what could have happened to him in the seemingly peaceful woods? The local newspaper, the Oakhaven Gazette, ran a front-page story featuring a grainy photograph of Arthur, his eyes, even in the faded print, holding a hint of melancholy. The article detailed Barnaby's return, the blood, and the fruitless search. The town, once a haven of tranquility, now felt a palpable sense of fear. Detective Harding, meanwhile, was meticulously piecing together Arthur's life. Arthur Finch had moved to Oakhaven nearly 15 years ago, a quiet man who kept to himself, earning a modest living as a freelance writer. He had no close family in the area, and his interactions with the townspeople were minimal, polite but distant. He was known for his long walks with Barnaby, his love for classic literature, and his aversion to modern technology. He was, in essence, a ghost in his own town, a man who existed on the periphery, leaving little trace. This reclusiveness, Harding knew, made the investigation even more challenging. There were few people to interview, few connections to explore, and even fewer insights into Arthur's personal life. The forensic team, after analyzing the blood on Barnaby, confirmed it was human. The news sent a fresh wave of alarm through Oakhaven. This was no mere disappearance. It was a crime. The type of blood, however, could not be immediately identified, adding another layer of complexity to the case. The search continued, now with the added urgency of a potential homicide. Every inch of the forest surrounding Arthur's cabin was scoured, but the dense undergrowth and the vastness of the wilderness made it a daunting task. The weather, too, seemed to conspire against them, with intermittent rain turning the forest floor into a muddy, treacherous terrain. As days turned into a week, the initial hope of finding Arthur alive began to wane. The townspeople, initially eager to help, grew weary, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and resignation. The mystery of Arthur Finch's disappearance became a dark cloud hanging over Oakhaven, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace. Detective Harding, however, refused to give up. He knew that every unsolved case left a scar on a community, and he was determined to bring answers to Oakhaven, no matter how grim they might be. The blood on Barnaby, the silent cabin, and the vast, indifferent forest held the key, and Harding was resolved to unlock its secrets. What do you think happened to Arthur Finch? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more gripping true crime stories. Oakhaven, despite its idyllic facade, was not without its own share of whispers and hidden histories. As Detective Harding delved deeper into Arthur Finch's life, he found that the recluse, though seemingly isolated, was subtly intertwined with the town's past. The Finch family, it turned out, had a long and somewhat eccentric history in Oakhaven. Arthur's grandfather, Elias Finch, had been a prominent, albeit peculiar, figure in the early 20th century, known for his vast land holdings and his even vaster collection of rare books. Rumors of hidden treasures and ancient family feuds had always clung to the Finch name, passed down through generations like cautionary tales. Harding's investigation led him to the town's oldest residents, their memories a patchwork of faded recollections and embellished stories. Mrs. Gable, a spry woman in her late 80s who ran the local antique shop, remembered Arthur's parents as equally private individuals. "They kept to themselves, dear," she'd said, her voice raspy with age. "Always polite, but never truly part of things. Arthur, he was just like them. A chip off the old block." She also recalled a long-standing dispute between the Finch family and the Millers, another old Oakhaven family, over a disputed parcel of land bordering the forest. The Millers, she explained, had always believed the land rightfully belonged to them, a grievance that had simmered for decades. This revelation immediately piqued Harding's interest. Deputy Miller, his own deputy, was a descendant of that very Miller family. While Harding trusted Miller implicitly, he knew he had to explore every angle. He discreetly questioned Miller about his family's history with the Finches. Miller, looking uncomfortable, confirmed the land dispute, explaining it was an old, almost forgotten squabble that had never truly been resolved. "My grandfather always grumbled about it," Miller admitted, "but it was more of a family legend than anything serious. I never thought much of it." The land in question was a dense, undeveloped tract of forest, precisely the area where Arthur often walked Barnaby and where the search efforts were concentrated. Could an old land dispute, seemingly dormant for decades, have suddenly reignited with such violent consequences? Harding considered the possibility, however remote it seemed. He also learned that Arthur, despite his reclusive nature, had recently been involved in a minor disagreement with a local timber company. The company, Oakhaven Lumber, had been trying to acquire a portion of Arthur's land for logging, a proposal Arthur had vehemently rejected. The owner, a gruff man named Silas Thorne, was known for his aggressive business tactics. Harding paid a visit to Silas Thorne, finding him in his office, surrounded by maps and logging permits. Thorne, a burly man with a perpetually scowling face, confirmed his interest in Arthur's land. He was stubborn, that old Finch, Thorne grumbled. Wouldn't sell for love or money, said it was sacred land, full of ancient spirits or some such nonsense. Thorne denied any involvement in Arthur's disappearance, claiming he had been out of town on a business trip during the time Arthur vanished. His alibi, though plausible, felt a little too convenient to Harding. The community of Oakhaven, meanwhile, was a cauldron of speculation. Some whispered about a lone wolf, a predator lurking in the shadows of the forest. Others, more superstitious, spoke of ancient curses and vengeful spirits, attributing Arthur's disappearance to the mystical forces believed to inhabit the old woods. The local church, usually a beacon of comfort, became a hub of hushed conversations, its parishioners grappling with the unsettling reality that evil could touch their peaceful town. The division between those who believed in a rational explanation and those who leaned towards the supernatural grew, creating a palpable tension in the air. Harding, however, remained grounded in facts. He ordered a more thorough search of the disputed land, focusing on any signs of recent activity. He also revisited Arthur's cabin, looking for anything that might have been overlooked. This time, he noticed a small, almost imperceptible scratch on the wooden floor near the back door, as if something heavy had been dragged across it. It was a minor detail, easily missed, but to Harding, it was a potential clue, a subtle hint of a struggle or a hasty departure. The detective also spent more time with Barnaby, hoping the dog might offer some silent clue. Barnaby, though still subdued, seemed to perk up whenever Harding mentioned Arthur's name. He would whine softly, his tail giving a tentative wag, and then look towards the forest, as if urging Harding to follow. Harding, a firm believer in the intelligence of animals, wondered if Barnaby was trying to lead them to something or someone. He decided to take Barnaby on a walk through the disputed land, hoping the dog's instincts might guide them. As the investigation deepened, the seemingly simple disappearance of a recluse began to unravel into a complex tapestry of old grievances, land disputes, and hidden motives. Oakhaven, once a symbol of tranquility, was now a town grappling with its own shadows, forced to confront the uncomfortable truth that even in the most peaceful of places, darkness could lurk beneath the surface. The mystery of Arthur Finch was no longer just about a missing man. It was about the secrets that Oakhaven had kept buried for generations, secrets that were now threatening to tear the community apart. The crisp autumn air, once a refreshing balm, now carried a chill that seemed to penetrate to the bone, mirroring the growing dread in Oakhaven. 2 weeks after Arthur Finch's disappearance, a discovery was made that shattered any lingering hopes of his safe return and plunged the town into a deeper abyss of fear. A group of hikers, venturing off the main trail in the disputed forest land, stumbled upon a shallow grave. The sight was gruesome, a hastily covered mound of earth, disturbed by scavenging animals. The Oakhaven Sheriff's Department was immediately notified, and Detective Harding, his face grim, rushed to the scene. The forensic team worked meticulously, carefully excavating the site. What they unearthed confirmed their worst fears. Human remains, partially decomposed, but identifiable as Arthur Finch through dental records and a distinctive silver locket found clutched in his skeletal hand. The locket, a family heirloom, contained a faded photograph of a young woman, her identity unknown. The cause of death was determined to be a single, fatal blow to the back of the head, likely inflicted by a blunt object. There were also signs of a struggle, indicating Arthur had fought for his life before succumbing to his attacker. The news of Arthur's murder sent shockwaves through Oakhaven. The whispers turned into outright fear, and the town, once a picture of serenity, now felt like a place under siege. Parents kept their children indoors, doors were locked earlier, and the once friendly faces of neighbors now held a hint of suspicion. The Oakhaven Gazette ran a special edition, its headlines screaming "Murder in Oakhaven," a phrase that felt alien and terrifying to the townspeople. The discovery of Arthur's body, while tragic, also provided crucial new clues. The location of the grave, deep within the disputed land, immediately brought the Miller family and Silas Thorne back into focus. Harding revisited Deputy Miller, who, though visibly shaken by the news, reiterated his family's long-standing claim to the land. He also revealed a detail he had previously omitted. His grandfather, before his death, had often spoken of a hidden spring on that land, a source of pure, untainted water that he believed held special significance. Could this spring be a motive for murder? Harding also re-interviewed Silas Thorne, the timber company owner. Thorne, though still denying involvement, seemed more agitated this time. He admitted that he had been particularly aggressive in his attempts to acquire Arthur's land because of a rare species of timber he believed grew there, a species that would fetch a high price on the market. He had even sent his men to survey the land, despite Arthur's protests. Could one of Thorne's men have confronted Arthur, leading to a fatal altercation? The locket found with Arthur's body also became a significant piece of evidence. The young woman in the photograph was a mystery. No one in Oakhaven recognized her. Harding theorized she might be a long-lost love, a secret from Arthur's past that had resurfaced with deadly consequences. He sent the photograph to a national database, hoping for a match. Meanwhile, the forensic team found traces of a unique type of clay on Arthur's clothing. A clay not native to the Oakhaven area but found in a specific region several hundred miles away. This suggested Arthur might have traveled recently, or that his killer had. Barnaby, Arthur's loyal dog, also provided a new lead. When taken back to the grave site, Barnaby became agitated, sniffing around the area with renewed intensity. He then led Harding to a small, overgrown path, barely visible, that branched off the main trail. Following Barnaby, Harding discovered a discarded, mud-caked shovel, partially hidden beneath a pile of leaves. The shovel, when examined, had traces of the same unique clay found on Arthur's clothing. It was a crucial piece of evidence, linking the murder weapon to the mysterious clay. The investigation now had a clearer direction. The focus shifted from a general search to a targeted hunt for a killer, someone connected to the disputed land, the rare clay, and possibly the woman in the locket. The secrets of Oakhaven were slowly but surely coming to light, and Detective Harding was determined to expose them all, no matter how painful the truth might be. The town, once a symbol of peace, was now a stage for a chilling drama, and everyone was a suspect until proven otherwise.